Hello, my name is Zurab, and today this is our first podcast, Moja Firma podcast, and with me is my colleague Catherine Barranco.
Hello.
And with us is mysterious and famous guest Alimjan. First of all, I'm really glad to see you and to have opportunity to, in this format, for the first time, to talk with you. Yes, just. And when we were choosing the guests, it was interesting because, in my opinion, and I think in opinion of Catherine, you are interesting person. First of all, without any doubts, you are the leading IT specialist in Poland. This is first. You are from Kazakhstan, from beautiful country, and tell us something about yourself.
Hello everyone, thanks for inviting me for this kind of event. Just in a nutshell, I'm gonna tell about myself. I'm from Kazakhstan, as mentioned earlier, and I came to Poland in 2014. But for the first 3.5 years I spent in Rzeszów, I was doing my bachelor, and afterwards I moved to Warsaw and have been living here since then. My professional expertise consists of IT engineering and a bit of management as well.
Wow, great! I think we have we three are
A lot
here
in common, yeah.
lots in common. When did you come first?
It was in 2016.
2016, 2014, 2017. Wow. Ukrainian citizen, Georgian, Kazakhstan. I don't think so. You can find such a combination many times. Yeah. Why did you choose IT?
I was always pretty easy with computers and all other stuff, and since I think when I was 15 years old, I started just a little bit of playing around with the code, but then I gave up on that, and only until I turned 19 I came back to coding. It was actually internship, it compelled me to come back to coding, but since then I never got it.
What about you? Are you good in computing?
No, me not.
Me too, really. I just know only honestly, our job consists of relocation of IT specialists to the Poland. Yes, we are helping IT specialists first of all to help them to obtain temporary residence card, permanent residence card, European residence card. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we learn a lot. Yeah, I think such a details. Yes. And what was for you advantage and disadvantage when you first came to Poland? Because you came in 2014. What was the advantage in this country?
Let's say something that really was distinguishable from my motherland. Maybe just people are different. So there are different values, different interests, different passions, behavior, and all other stuff. And the downsides, to be honest, I don't recall exactly. It's a bit of research needs to be done, but I wouldn't really answer on that.
What about you, Kate?
Why did I choose Poland?
Yeah.
Actually, it was my third country for relocating into Canada. I was thinking about finishing my bachelor here in Poland and then moving to Canada, but after being there for several years, I spent the year several summers.
Yeah, I know you're traveling.
Yeah, several years in a row. I decided that Poland, especially European countries, are much more better for me.
Yeah, this is true. Honestly,
Actually, because of values and passions, I think.
yeah, it's true. It's playing a really huge role. Also, we have to underline one thing that I know, for example, Russian language, Ukrainian language, also Russian language, as far as I remember. And for us, it's easier to study Polish language, to learn Polish language.
Come on.
Yeah, you know Polish language, yes?
On a certain degree.
How well do you speak Polish?
How many years? Well, since I came here, but nothing more than just rent an apartment, just deal with the documents, and I don't know, buy a piece of bread, and that's it.
And what about you? Sorry.
No worries.
My Polish, it was in the beginning, I want bread. Honestly, it was like that. Chcę chleb. or just I'm sorry, and that's it really. And also body language is helping me, and Google Translate, of course. And you, I think when you came to Poland, you were like fish in the water.
No, actually not. It was kind of difficult for me, and still it's difficult to speak Polish. Hopefully, I know English. It helps me a lot.
You know, in your case, it's interesting because you're also a teacher. You know how this world of grammar is look like. You are already.
Actually, it's kind of other thing because, for example, when you speak Slavic languages, you don't go deep into the structure of this language.
Interesting.
Yeah, like architecture of the language. And for example, when you speak Polish, you have to know what ending you should put at the end of each word. But for example, if you speak Deutsch, German, or English, it's much more easier because you have just to remember it.
Wow, such a details. I honestly didn't assume. I was also a teacher in 2018, and I was very open-minded teacher, really friendly with my students because I think the most important in languages, also in Poland, yes, the communication. We are human, and Polish is not my native language, yours and yours. Yeah, we are making mistakes, and when you are realizing this thing, that you are human, you can make mistake. Your speaking skills can be better. You can make this progress. Let's say, yeah. I wanted to ask you one thing about your relocation. Yes, you relocated in 2014
Yeah,
in
that's
Rzeszów.
correct. Yep.
And then in 2017 or 18, you become the member of Business Incubator. Did I get you?
Not really. It happened in 2021 of the business
Just a
incubator.
year ago.
Just a year ago.
Yeah.
And I think you were providing service to
Yeah,
others.
I was a mentor,
Uh-huh.
kind of mentor.
How it was, the like first conversation and general this process of relocation.
Actually, it was easy because Alimjan has already known a lot of, waterstones, let's call it like this. Yeah, it wasn't difficult to explain, it wasn't difficult to provide the approximate numbers.
Okay.
So we were on the same page, I think.
You think the same?
Yeah, well, when you're a foreigner in a country, in any country, you have to know the law pretty well. And yeah, so we skipped the basics of the things when it comes to the business incubator rules. So yeah, it was pretty easy and pretty fast.
Yeah, really. It's nice to hear such a compliment from your side, really, because we are putting a tremendous effort to help our client in relocation, first of all, yeah, because cases are really individual. Somebody is on the territory of Poland based on working visa, let's say, or visa Poland business harbor, and sometimes there are such a complicated cases that I need to ask some opinion. Okay, we have to discuss some cases, yes. But your case, it was, as let's say, easy peasy. Really, it was easy because you are understanding everything very well, and you are very catchy.
And there were two more moments. So, for example, he was already a graduator of Polish university, so you didn't have to get any work permits, as well as you were already in Poland, so it was much more easier.
Yeah.
Same. In my case, the same. When I started to work in our business incubator, I was a postgraduate student, and for me, I don't need extra document, work permit, in order to start working on the territory of Poland. So it was much easier.
I started working when I was a student. So, and I remember I was a first student being employed here in this company.
Really?
And yeah, and it was kind of difficult because at that exact moment we hadn't had any practices working with students, and I remember we spent plenty of time for preparing all the documents.
Wow, it's interesting, really. Ali, I want to ask you one question. You are
Just one?
not one, a lot, but I will be now precise. I will ask you some precise question concerning your recommendation to IT specialists. What they have to take into account when they are relocating on the territory of Poland. What is like most important for the beginner person who would like to relocate to Poland?
Well, first of all, just a bit of basic words of the local language, then perhaps. That's actually a good question because I knew nothing, and I came there. Well, I was learning on duty. And,
Really?
yes, and actually coming back to the disadvantage of on that moment, there was no like guidance in place even on the official government website on how to, for example, apply for resident card or do almost anything. So all the knowledge were in people's heads, and they were transferred only verbally, and it was kind of a challenge to do almost anything
It's
on
quite
that time.
challenging.
Yeah, now it's better obviously, but on that time, yes, it was slightly tough.
What about you? You didn't
You were
have-
asking about IT, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It transitioned a little. Okay, to another answer. Okay, for the IT person, I don't think there is any will be any tough challenge like outstanding ones, because basically the Polish market is quite endorsing for IT professionals.
Yeah.
Because the market is full of demand more than the supply. Yeah, I would say so.
Can we say that Polish labor market in IT is leading in European Union or in like top
Oh,
5?
wow.
It might be, but what I would say for sure one of the most developing labor markets when it comes to IT.
Wow, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of IT guys says that actually Polish market is a first starting is pretty cool starting point for building their career.
Wow, why did you know? It's like educational for me, this podcast. Okay, another question, it will be like boiling hot pot, let's say, about legalization. What can you tell me about your legalization process? Because in 2017 you came to Poland, you were a student. I guess you had invitation from your university, Rzeszów,
That's
yes?
correct.
And you made a temporary residence card based on your studies.
Correct, yeah.
And how it was cooperation with official bodies? Like how did you obtain it? How just describe this process of obtaining residence card.
Residence card. As I said, there is not process in place, so it was like by default it was a bit of tough challenge. We were basically guided by other people who were already experienced in that, and they were guiding us through all the process. So I wouldn't say it's something really difficult. The more difficult was the just to get here, the initial part, when I was signing the contract with the university, when I was collecting the documents, especially because I'm not used to be, let's say, doing everything alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. But I was lucky enough to have someone mentoring me on that matter.
Truly, it's luxury.
So would you suggest anyone from your native country to relocate to Poland?
I would. Well, there is always a reason why I am here and not there. Apart from that, well, I would say taking into consideration the Polish market, just overall the projects are quite interesting, and some of them are really new in any particular field. In AI/ML, I think I've seen one project somewhere in Google. There was one, and there are some good startups that are, let's say, quite new, developing really something new. So the projects are interesting, and most of the time it's being paid quite well.
No, okay.
And-
So, yeah, please.
Yeah, it was a question from my side. Was it difficult to start your career in IT straight after finishing the university?
Good question.
Was it difficult to find any job offers?
Very. Because on that time, mm, just a few amount of companies knew how to manage with foreigners and their
Mhm.
documentation, and they would rather give up on the initial part rather than proceed further and explore how to do that, how to legalize a foreigner. So most of the time I was being rejected for that reason, even though my skills were matching the job post, that they would immediately reject my CV and just proceed further. So maybe that was the toughest challenge, but now I don't think it's really a tough one.
And where is your client situated right now for this exact moment? Because you're working as a freelancer.
Yes, my headquarters is in Switzerland, Basel.
Switzerland, Basel, yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you find this job offer?
They found me.
Oh, so
Thanks for.
Thanks for social medias.
Okay. LinkedIn, you probably.
Yeah, it's kind of a Tinder, but on a different level. It's kind of matching you and the employer. So yeah, they found me. Well, since then I never got that opportunity, and that's really a good social media because
yeah.
I think that's the first instance where you go as an employer to hire someone and as an employee to find a job.
And how did you set up cooperation with them?
That was a little bit bizarre process
Bizarre.
because everything
Wow.
was nothing was documented, everything was verbally. I was going through the hiring process, and like on each stage I didn't really see the document itself because I never signed something.
Okay.
And I was always thinking whether I should proceed with that or I shouldn't be, because once I had a bad experience with such employment.
Yeah.
But this time I got lucky. So don't know even how to say.
I meant you are working on B2B format with this company.
You are in my mind. I wanted to ask you. The question is next that you had opportunity, for example, cooperate with your client in B2B format, and it
Yes.
means when you have when you opened on the territory of legal entity, yes,
Yes.
LLC, for example, or sole trader, or working B2C format. That means that you are working through business incubator, yes, and you are formally employed by incubator,
Mhm.
and you are providing your service to your client. Why did you choose incubator instead of sole trader?
That's, I think, the downside of Polish law, because I'm on a residence card until I spent 5 full years in Poland. Just for the record, when you're studying, it's not considered as the full time, it's considered as half time. And so until you get, let's say, permanent residence card, you cannot open the self-employment.
Okay.
So yeah, after that I started searching for any other ways to set up a company, or like just to have
Virtual
a contract.
company, let's say.
Yes. And yeah, that's how I found you.
Okay, it's hard already.
And why did you choose us?
What a smooth transition. Well, I have to say, I have to endorse the skill of your SEO, search engine optimization.
Hello.
Yes, and because it's literally the first, the first result on Google.
Okay.
Because most of other competitors are going to the second page or third page, which for me doesn't exist. I'm usually sticking to the first one, whatever the rest is, I don't really care about it.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty easy, and I saw what the website looks good, because the website is the face of the company, right? And I really like that you already set some blog articles
Yeah.
about how to open self-employment, how to do this, how to, I don't know, obtain the residence card, how to apply for this and that. And that really, all these minor things made a bigger picture of the company. And yeah, I've made mind up that I will work with you.
Yeah, this
But-
is true.
Yeah. If you don't mind, let's get back to the topic of setting up your own company. So, as being a citizen of Kazakhstan, you had two options: to set up an LLC here in Poland or work through business incubation program. So, why didn't you choose the first option instead?
Well, didn't I choose, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Taxes are high, maybe.
Nah, well, they're still high, but what I would say, I'm not very well attentive, so I might lose something when it comes to taxation. All the calculations, I might make a mistake, and it's being punished quite heavily here.
This is true. The punishing is-
And I have to, like, let's say, delegate that work to people that quite experienced in that, and everything is set up. It's automatic, and yeah, so I would rather work with someone else who knows that better than I am.
Yeah.
So, if we're speaking about the services that Business Incubator introduces, can you, for example, I'm not a client of Business Incubation Program, I'm working in sales department, so I know only this part. So, what do you get for this amount of money that you pay to us?
Actually, the list of services is quite high. I will always get the immediate response, which I really like. Sometimes the scope of work can be a little bit extended, so you are really client related. So if the client has a problem, you're willing to help.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's really good
I'm
point.
getting bread.
Yeah, thank you first of all for such a compliment. I would like to add also a few comments because you are showing us perspective of client, and I will show you now how it looks like behind the scene. Yes, so we are putting tremendous effort on this one because, for example, I finished my master degree in migration. My topic was concerning migration. And when we are taking individual cases, we are trying to solve it as fast as we can to provide proper service and to help them, because after working day is finishing, you are just feel happy that you helped somebody to help with legalization. Because when somebody newcomer coming to Poland, this is new world, new language, new culture, so they don't know anything, and when you are talking to them, they feel comfortable with you, yes, and I have this self-satisfaction that I can do something good to them, yes, and yeah, we have like sometimes there are such a days that there are lots of questions concerning relocation, but we are dealing it very well, and we are trying to do our best.
And what do you like the most working here in business? In our company, let's say.
This is a good question. First of all, I like my employer and the style of my company and team. Come on, I like everybody. Ilya, Tanya, Alita, you, and everybody.
Thank you.
I just feel very well with them because first of all, we are young. We have like young team, open-minded. We can talk, we can joke, and they are really very helpful. They have this extra obligation on their shoulders when I'm asking them some questions. Sometimes I'm annoying, to be honest, because I'm asking lots of questions, and she knows that. But mainly team, and what I like mostly the politic of my company, that I don't feel that somebody is watching me on all the steps. You understand? I can ask any questions to my employer, and they are always helpful, and Vika, Valer, greetings from us. And yeah, what about you?
I remember remember when I came for the first time, and it was my first week of working here. I asked my boss, Victoria, if it's gonna be a problem for me, and he answered that we don't have any problems, we have cases, and we resolve these cases. And also I was impressed when my mentor, Alexandra, she remembered every client and every case of the client, and I was really impressed by that. And now I'm sitting here and I understand that I remember your case. So I actually like how we treat our clients, and I do value this.
Yeah, this is true, and it's pleasant when you hear that Alimjan has good feedback.
Yeah.
About our company.
Satisfying.
And you are satisfied, and we are satisfied. Believe me, because we've been in such a position when we had to come to Poland, relocation, these things. It's challenging, but what does it does make us stronger. So we challenge that, and we are now here in Poland. Yeah. Also, I want to ask you one thing. We were talking about relocation and other stuffs. I would like to ask you, you are representing your beautiful country, Kazakhstan. Honestly, I didn't have such a luxury to meet lots of people from Kazakhstan. I know from my parents, this is unique, amazing country. Can you tell us something about your country? In the future, I would like to visit, really. I would like to visit, and Kate, you also, come on.
Yeah, me too.
She's traveler. For the first time when I met her, it was 1 week later, because she was in Paris, I think, and you're all the time traveling. So
I was in Ukraine actually.
Ukraine. I mix you. Okay, tell us something about your country. What can we visit there?
Well, I have to know the nature for sure. You can find almost, let's say, the advantage of any country. For example, in Switzerland, you have the mountains, and I mean the nature around those mountains is outstanding, I would say. And well, I was born in Almaty, and we have mountains like literally 2-3 kilometers from the city.
Oh, amazing!
Well, we had a lot of earthquakes, but yeah. Well, the nature, that's for sure. Well, anything else? Well, obviously, I cannot really say objectively what other people can find in there, because I was born there, it's my motherland, and I obviously like it. Apart from nature, that's actually nature what's being really emphasized by other people who visited that. So I have a lot of friends from Poland, from Ukraine, from Georgia, from all over the place, and most of them have visited Kazakhstan at least once, and everybody says about nature and dishes, national dishes, I guess.
Oh, I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry. Yeah.
And
So
what
yeah.
about you?
What about me? About my country or about Kazakhstan?
Okay,
Because
let's talk about Kazakhstan.
after you said that, they have a good dish, I'm just getting hungry. You know what? I'm from Georgia. My country is old, unique country, and like you love your country, I love the same, and you also Ukraine. I was born, by the way, in Ukraine, and my second homeland is Ukraine. I'm always saying first is Georgia, second is Ukraine, and third one is Poland, because it's in my heart, honestly. And I hope one day I will visit Ukraine again. And all I can say about Georgia, amazing dish, amazing people. People are open-minded, talkative in some way, but in good way, of course. Well-educated, young generation is amazing. You can talk about any topic, IT, philosophy, history, literature. As they are asking you questions, interacting with you. So this I like in my country, really. This young generation, they are really amazing. And nature, of course. We have mountain, sea, Black Sea, and great Georgian dishes. And soon I will visit my country. And I invite you, by the way.
Well,
You will
Georgian
be my-
dishes
You will be
are...
my, and you too, you know that already.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned that. So first, Georgia is your first homeland. Then Ukraine comes,
Ukraine.
and after that, Poland. Do you feel like home here in Poland?
Well, relatively, because nowadays I may encounter cases because of the way I look. It's still, I don't feel like really at home because how people sometimes treat you. So yeah, but it became really, I became closer to Poland, and generally, I don't know, I just got used to it. It's let's say, actually it's already my home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. You know, you're asking my opinion, Ali's opinion. What about you?
What about what?
What can you tell me about Poland? Do you feel like you're at home?
Yeah, actually, sometimes I feel that it's my homeland. Probably it's because of my DNA. You know, recently I've done this DNA test, and it showed that I have
Why?
70% of
7?
Polish roots. Can you imagine?
Wow, 7%.
70.
70.
Yeah, not 7, 70.
Okay, 70% Polish, 30% left. So 30% Ukraine.
Caucasus, actually.
Okay, I guess. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I also have some roots, like 2% of Swedish roots. Yeah.
Swedish roots. Wow.
So actually, probably because of this, and you mentioned that you don't feel like home because of the way how people treat you. And actually, probably because I've met a lot of Russian-speaking as well as Ukrainian-speaking people here, I feel like home. And for example, I met a lot of people from my hometown in Ukraine here in Poland, and we had never met each other there in Ukraine. But for example, here in Poland, we became a good friends.
Yeah, and about Poland, I can tell that it's. I feel like at home first of all because my fiance is from Poland. Yes, and yeah, this is first. The second, people treat you well. I don't. Maybe I've been lucky, but it's my opinion. Yes, and culture, people, young generations, they are really helpful. In the beginning of my staying in Poland, it was 2017, as I already said. I was like lost sheep, honestly, and I couldn't know where I have to go, what I have to do, and people were helpful towards me. They were trying to explain me again with body language or with Google Translate, and I like in this country really very much. And honestly, I feel like I'm at home, really.
Yeah, the same with
Yeah.
me.
This is really, and also like food, everything is good.
Yeah, probably we are not from IT, and we don't have a lot of choices. For example, if you have some hard skills, it's much more easier to choose the country for living in future.
Yeah. Coming back to how people treat you, it doesn't mean that everybody treats me wrongly. Just there are some cases,
Yeah, some.
But the majority, obviously, are really willing to help.
Yeah.
And especially, I remember people in this government office when you apply for the residence card. I remember there was a guy who was really like, I didn't know English when I came to Poland, and I didn't know Polish, like for sure, obviously. And he was still willing to help me. He was like mimicking all the stuff, showing some gestures, but he never said to anyone to like come back with a translator or maybe come back later when you learn something. But well, he had a lot of patience, I gotta say. They like spending 8 hours a day just doing that. And
to be honest, I feel so jealous when someone says that he's applying for residence permit by himself or herself. For me, it's pretty tough topic.
Me too. It's painful, really painful. Because in the beginning you had to collect all documents and you didn't know how to do it, everything. And now of course it's easier. Really, it's totally for me easier and for you as well because we know how to do it. Yes. In the beginning, collecting documents, make a picture. And pictures you're not making like for the first shot. Like somebody's telling to you, oh, you're like your face. You have to move left, right, taking pictures, putting like putting all documents together, sending them. It was a few cases when somebody lost all documents. It was my personal, not towards me, but I know a guy who lost all his documents and he had to go back and collect all documents. So it is really like challenging.
So if someone needs help, Moja Firma can help you
Yeah, of course, this is true.
with getting residence permit.
What we can say that we can provide services in English language, in Russian, in Polish, in Ukrainian, Georgian language. So if you're Georgian, feel free, just send me some questions or just call me and we'll be glad to help. And we are almost the ending of our podcast. And what can you recommend to future IT specialists when they will relocate to Poland? What are your maybe some advices to them? And
can I add? So first of all, would you recommend Poland as a starting point for IT specialists?
Answering your question, yes, that's a really good starting point. And Poland has a lot of branches of big companies, like for example FAANG companies. My friends work in Google and Facebook and I think even some working remotely for Netflix. And there is always a possibility to go further. When you go up and up, getting promotions, you will be asked to travel, to migrate somewhere else. And yes, that's a great place to seek opportunities. Then, answering your question, actually coming back to your monologue when the guy people lost guys all the documents. I had my last case.
Really? I'm reading your mind.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Go ahead. How it's happened and what was the background? You lost all documents?
No, I didn't. I applied for it, but after 1 month, I get a letter to provide everything, like one-on-one what I provided them with, everything once again. I was like, come on.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. But everything ended well. Now I'm a legalized immigrant.
Yeah, officially legalized, and soon you're applying for
European Union residence. Yeah,
residence.
kind of. It's not temporary. It's permanent permit.
Yeah.
More of that. And I think the question was also, would I recommend to come here and maybe challenges?
Yes, of course.
All the aforementioned challenges, well, that's the beauty of migration to any country, not particularly Poland, but, just, I don't know, embraced it. That's fine, everybody encounters these issues and everybody deals with them. Especially nowadays, it's not that painful.
Yeah.
Companies like Moja Firma, they really ease the pain of that process. And I don't really see any stoppage of coming here.
Yeah.
And I guess that really answered your question. Over to you.
Kate, do you have some comment?
Concerning relocation to Poland?
Yes.
I would definitely suggest Poland for being relocated to.
Yeah, and I can say the same because this is great country. People, as I said already, good people. There is opportunity to relocate, to work here, to have this so-called work-life balance because it's necessary, yes. And this is full of opportunity, this country, and for the future, and also I like my job and I feel very well here, yeah. So if somebody would like to relocate to the country, European Union, I think this is one of the best destination, really.
Yeah, because of the mixture of cultures.
Yeah. So. Yeah,
we should finish probably.
Probably yes. So first of all, thank you. It was the first our experience in the podcast.
Yeah, it wasn't really smooth, but first.
Yeah, but first one is always good one. second one it will be better, and third one will be the best. And
Yeah,
every
so
time we come-
actually, yeah, we invite you guys for our next live streams. Yeah, we will keep you updated.
Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to enter to our official webpage, mojafirma.org, and ask us any questions concerning relocation to the Poland, and wish you good day.
Have a good day, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Я останавливаю или ты?